Okay, everybody, we are live, and as you notice, I have makeup on, which means my arm, at least the pain medication, is working enough for me to put makeup. And I've got, if there's a disembodied voice, it's because Mike Seebeck's here. We're doing convention rules at the same time. Now let me try to get this JC Hearing live stream up. I want to remove my shameless plugging. Let's see if we can get this working. Okay, and this was not really planned very well. So let me go to the LNC list. Abe Books, LNC meeting. Judicial Committee round 2. Yep, there it is. Let's open Zoom. Talking just to let you guys who may be watching. There's 3 of you watching right now. Why join without video? Yes, I don't want them to have my video. The host will let you in soon. I'm being let in. Don't want, well, they're muting everybody anyway, so got it. There's Doc Sexy. So for Doc Sexy, we got that. Now let me share my screen, but we don't have any sound. Why? Okay, no sound at the moment. Let me try to figure this out. Sound preferences. USB audio, input, output, no. Built in. Huh. Movie, why isn't sound working? This is gonna suck if we can't get sound working. And why is... Oh, derp. Mac mini speakers, USB audio, eCam virtual. Why is sound not working? Possible audio feedback. Use echo.
Brown says yes, sound. Yes, sir. It's on our side.
Why don't I have sound? Nope. Want to share. And I'm still not getting any sound. So let me go to Zoom because that might be the issue. Select a speaker.
Members don't have much more to ask, but others do. So I'm going to go through the list, and
didn't want to do that.
After all the questions are exhausted, then what we'll do is we will allow the appellants and the respondent to use up as much of their remaining time as they want. And last time we had the appellants first and the respondent second. So I think we'll be going in opposite order this time. So I know that Alicia has a question, so I'm going to have her go ahead and ask her question first.
Why isn't that showing?
Okay, I believe the written submissions
okay, there we go.
Addressed a lot of things. I do think that was helpful. First, I just want to note that in the questions we submitted, since we had testimony from one of the parties last time that white text on a white background would suffice for giving notice, I did put a graphic in the file with a white question asked on white background, and for some reason I didn't get an answer to that, so I'm just going to draw my own conclusion about that kind of notice. But my remaining question is actually for the McVeigh side primarily. So again, if the other parties need to respond, that's fine. Regarding the October 1st meeting, besides the earlier posting on the Facebook group that is contested, I understand, about its sufficiency, but was there any sort of notice of a meeting on October 1st given to all the board members?
And Dave Davis is asking what this is. It's part 2 of the Delaware Judicial Committee hearing.
You should be able to unmute yourself, Will.
Yeah, I wasn't before. I just got it after I put my hand up to say that. So the way our meetings have traditionally worked between the court ones, which are scheduled by a motion of the state board, we do meetings on Discord and have done since, I want to say, about February or March of last year, when we created the Discord server. And
just checking with everyone that the
members of
sound
the
is
state
okay.
board all
Let me know
assigned a role in
I
that
change things.
server of
If
state
there's
board.
any issues, let
And
me know.
when the state board role is mentioned, everybody gets a notification,
I love how
either
Alicia
pushed
asked
out
the
to their phone
question
or
with
eventually
white
sent
text
out
on
to
white
email.
background
I'm
and
not
wondered
sure
why she
exactly what
didn't
the
get an
time frame is
answer.
for Discord doing that.
Because that's what
But that's
Will
how
McVeigh said that was
notification
proper notice.
per se of the meeting has happened, is
He
a
said
literal
Digital-
notification
He said if
on
he
Discord
posted on
when
Facebook white
the
text
channel has
on a
traffic.
white background, that was proper bylaws notice.
No.
So not until the
Digital
meeting
invisible list.
started, would there
Proper
be
notice. You have to be able to read
any
this.
indication that there
Not
was going
according
to
to
be a
him.
meeting? Was there advance notice that there was going to be a meeting?
So the way the process is written in the bylaws is it says that a meeting is convened upon a motion, second, and completion of a quorum call. So the motion generates a
Convening
notification,
has
the
nothing to
second
do with
generates a
notice,
notification,
you barking
and the quorum
moonbat.
call generates several notifications as members sign in, sign out of the Discord server and
5
respond to
minutes he
the
gave.
quorum call application or widget in the Discord server. And this is the process that was set up in around April and has been followed without objection until October 1st.
Because you've also
And
You are so full of
also
shit.
should be noted, and I noted this in my written responses, that votes that take place in this manner through this mechanism are left open for 48 hours or until a sufficient number of votes has been received to determine the outcome. So just because you don't necessarily see the notification when the meeting starts, you will see the notification before it ends, unless you're avoiding them.
Okay, and looks like from the other party in Delaware, Ms. Lepore has her hand up.
Yeah, thank you, Alicia. Can you hear me okay?
I sure
Yes, we can hear you.
Excellent. So to fully answer your question, Alicia, I'm
I'm going to
certain you've
talk
seen
after
Exhibit
Dr.
A
Lepore is done.
that we sent as our original, a part of our original appeal. But I just want to make it clear that there not only was the content of the meeting hidden from the membership and from other board members, but the meeting was called at 8:01 p.m. and Chairman Hines, Dave Casey, and myself were excised from the party at 8:03. And so the answer to your question is absolutely not. There was no prior notice. And certainly Mr. McVeigh could not claim that business of this sort was done in this fashion with barely a moment's notice in such a way that would be acts that would go against the will of the membership or change in some great fashion the construct of the party.
I need to interrupt here because, really what we're going to do is have the JC members ask questions. And then if there's a rebuttal that the other side wants to make, it should come, when we go through your time. If you remember.
Okay, I'm muting Mary for one moment on the end of the recipients of this audio, just to say there should be an objection posted that Will McVeigh is poisoning the well with his name that he's using. No one else is using a title with their name. Will McVeigh has Will McVeigh LPD chair. That is the very issue in dispute. You don't see Amy Lepore there with LPDD vice chair, and you don't see Bill Hines. They're just using their names. There should be a big objection to Will McVeigh doing this. But he's a sneaky little bastard like that. You get,
That the question of.
Thank you. Yes, I do have a question,
Yeah.
and I guess it's from anywhere. I guess it's essentially McVeigh. About the 2,000 members that were dememberized.
that was 2,700.
These were dues-paying members, or they were simply people who registered in the Libertarian Party?
Oh, so Vermin Supreme thinks paying
I'm just
money
looking for
gives you more
clarification
rights,
of
huh?
that.
So the Libertarian Party of Delaware doesn't have
It's
dues, and we haven't done since 2010 when I got involved. I'm not sure about the history prior to that, but to my knowledge, no dues then either. The membership criteria that those 2,000 or so members qualified under was that they were registered
There are
Libertarian.
none, just
That
drink.
was the sole qualification that they had. Several other members may have been qualified by virtue of being a member of the National Party, a bylaw sustaining member of the National Party, residing in Delaware. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they were even aware that there was a specific state affiliate of the LPD as a distinct organization. I know that's not something that I was aware of in terms of just how political parties function, 12, 15 years ago. I didn't know that state affiliates of the party were a thing. I just thought it was one monolithic national organization. So I don't know how many of those people even know there is a Libertarian Party of Delaware. And certainly have not been to any meetings or involved in any events associated with the state affiliate.
Thank you.
They were qualified by virtue purely of their partisan registration.
It's better than
Thank you.
nothing, but I'm going to move it.
Did you get your question answered completely,
Review my laptop here.
Furman?
Yes, I
So I
believe
need
so.
to move it up a
Okay,
little.
great. Amy, I see you have your hand up. Do you have a question for me?
I do not. I apologize.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure if you had a procedural question, I took care of it. Okay. All right, so the other JC members didn't have questions, but I'm going to come back to you, Alicia, to see if you have any more.
I want you to be a disembodied person.
I don't have any further questions, and
It's not going to pick up your
we'd be
voice
happy
great, but
for
at least
this
people
to be a
see
fairly
that there's
short
another
meeting
person
if
here.
others don't have questions. I think last week that we did let let all parties give a response to any question that came up. So
We're doing
I
an
will
impromptu
be
meeting
comfortable with allowing parties to respond to all the questions
meeting you and I with.
like we did last week. But I think I got enough of the information from my question. I don't know if Furman did.
Okay, let's ask Furman, did you get, are you good? Do you have other questions?
I believe that I have no other questions, and I believe I have an understanding now. Thank you.
Okay, great, great. And you may
He
be
might
right,
actually
Alicia, I
roll
did not
okay on
recall.
this one.
But, well,
Listen,
I think we have enough
he was-
time left on everybody's. Okay, Bill Hines has a question.
He
Yes,
had an
Bill?
agenda with me. He's ass mad because I don't like
You might have to
socialism,
unmute yourself.
and he's once
I don't
again
have a
flirting with
question. I just
socialism.
want to,
Both
if
him and
there's no more
Alicia's
questions,
opinions
I would
were
like to
had
rebut
more to do
the
with their hurt
two that
asses
were
than the
posed.
I
facts.
know. I destroyed them in a separate statement.
Yeah.
Okay,
Which we
I'm
still
going
need
to
to
allow
go
it since
over,
since according to Alicia, we did last time, and I apologize.
But
if I'm
Alicia and
remembering
Berman seem
wrong.
like they're being very
So
good
go
on this
ahead.
one.
Thank you. To the first question
Oh, they don't care.
regarding the
Alicia wanted
October
to get
1
even with me for
meeting
beating her
timing
by
and
20
notice,
points or so.
when I was elected chair back in
See,
June
look,
of
Bill
this
Hines
year,
just says Bill Hines.
I immediately informed the board that I did
That
not
tells you
want
something
to
about the
perform
character
ad hoc meetings
of these people.
because people,
You know, when I go to an LNC
the
meeting,
board members
even though
can't
I
be
don't
tied to
respect them
Discord
personally, I
24 hours
respect
a
them enough
day.
as a body that
So
I don't put
what
my
we did
username
as
in
a
the
board,
LNC
all 10
meetings as
members
LNC Secretary
came
in
to an
Excel.
agreeable
I use that for my own channel. I don't disrespect them
day
like
at a
that.
month that the board would meet to prevent us from having to do
Or I
these
don't do it
types of
intentionally. If it's
meetings.
ever happened,
And
it's been
that was
unintentional. Like
the
I'm double checking my
fourth
name right now. I'm pretty sure it
Monday
just
of
says
every
Karen Ann
month.
Harlos.
And the meeting
Yeah, it does.
prior to October 1st, which happened on September 27th, I believe, Mr. McVeigh and Joe DePasquale immediately called for adjournment.
Yeah, Nolan, I
upon us
agree with
coming
you,
to
but
order
I respect
with
that
no
Bill Hines
further- nothing
didn't put
happened.
that in his name. But notice
we all
what Will
came
McVeigh
into the
did.
meeting. We opened
And
the
Nolan, we're
meeting,
working on
and
the
Joe
convention rules right now that I'm going to be
moved
sending to you.
adjourn, and
So
Will
that's what
seconded,
Mike's doing over here. We're
and
working on
then the
Colorado's,
vote,
but we're also going to be
was
sending to you.
5,
So
4, and
Nolan,
1.
meet Mike.
5
Mike
to
is also
adjourn,
helping
4
out
not
New
to
Hampshire.
adjourn, and 1 that was abstained. So our meeting just 4 days prior to this
A lot
was
of people don't know
immediately
that behind the
adjourned by
scenes, a
Mr.
lot of the
McVeigh.
things I do,
The
my
second thing,
cohort in
member
crime here
removal
is Mike, who
rebuttal.
helps me.
Mr. McVeigh held a meeting, and it's online, and you can view it, where he removed every member from the LPD. That is every member. And then he voted back in 17 members, him and his crew. So
His
they
merry
even
band
removed
of
themselves. They had
crewmasters.
to add themselves back to the party when they did that bulk member removal. And they've set up criteria which has not been published or established for allowing members to return to the party. And that's all I have to say for now.
Okay.
Amy?
Well, I think I may have opened Pandora's box here because I see
God,
that
I love
Mr.
Mary.
McVeigh
She's so
wants to
sweet.
respond and Sean Goward. I am going to
Is D Frank here?
basically say what Alicia
Okay.
said and that she has enough information on this subject right now.
Yeah.
We are going to allow other briefs after this meeting. So if something comes
Tim
up
Turney,
and
Tom
we've run
Arnold,
out of
Chuck
time
Moulton,
in the
Ugh,
rebuttal
Richard
phase, which
Longstreth,
everybody has time in
Chris
the rebuttal
Charles
phase here,
Lazara, Colette
you
Colleen
can
Lang,
always
who's the
send us a
Radical
brief
Caucus
with
secretary,
details of your
John
answer.
California, George Phillies, Jared Hall,
So what I'm
Carol
going
Moore,
to do is
Alex,
I'm
Dave versus
I'm
Goliath,
going to
yay.
ask
Patrick
Sean,
Mitchell, I
if
don't know.
you, are
Ken Molman,
you
who's been
speaking on this
disappointing the hell out of me
particular
lately.
subject? Or
Tim
is that what
Hagen,
you, if,
Anna
because if you
Mosheville,
want to do
Whitney,
that, I'd
Boo,
really like to
Justin, Carter,
defer
Beth
that
Bass.
until, you know, for a
don't-
brief
who's
later
that?
on.
Too Tiny to Read, Mimi,
Yeah,
Valerie
I
Boo,
wanted to rebut
Susan Hogarth, the
question
Wish
number
version
2
of Carrie Ann
regarding
Harlow,
membership as well, but
Aaron Adams,
I will defer to
Gwendolyn,
your
Mary
judgment, ma'am.
Pat, Jess
Now, when
McVeigh,
you say the second question, do you need
is
Berman's question?
Will's father who opposes him,
Question regarding
Rich Bowen,
disaffiliation
Nick
of
is probably Nick
membership. Yes,
Sarwark,
ma'am.
Eric Lind, and I.
Okay, I'll allow it. Go ahead.
Will Hobson. That's it.
I've been a member of the Libertarian Party of Delaware for since
See,
2014, and also a member in Kent
maybe it's
County
this
in
way.
good standing. And
Nope.
so when Mr.
I don't
McVeigh
see D. Frank
says
here.
that the individuals
It's being
that
recorded,
he
so
and his group removed or
we might have
disaffiliated
gotten.
are people who
You know.
aren't involved or don't know what's going on. I
And his
absolutely
wife.
challenge that assumption, because he used that justification on a November
Well,
15th meeting
normally I
to
chastise
absolutely
you for
cut
that,
out
but I won't for
individuals
that,
who had
Tom.
been in the party
Because I do say
long
with the
enough
sapling that I
to
love to
meet the
come and hit it
membership
with your purse next
requirements
time.
and had no justification for removal.
I pulled trees out.
Okay,
before, and
I appreciate you keeping that brief, Sean. And Mr. McVeigh, I'm going to allow you a couple minutes as well, since I allowed everyone else. Go ahead.
Thank you. First,
Look at
in
that.
regards to
Look at
Mr.
that
Hunt
arrogant little prick.
not allowing ad hoc motions, that was not within the bounds of his authority as chair. The bylaws offer no discretion for the chair as to
Then
whether or
appeal
not
the ruling
an
of
ad
the
hoc
chair,
meeting
you
can be
little
called.
crybaby.
Now, when a motion was made a day or two after the convention, and he said that he preferred not to do ad hoc motions, but to focus them
Will,
all
are you
on one month.
condemning
Since
Ashley
I'm the one
Shade
that
for the
made that
same thing?
motion
Because
and hadn't
Ashley
seconded
Shade
yet, I
declared that
voluntarily
appeals
withdrew
from
it
the ruling of
to
the
humor
chair
him
aren't
and give him
allowed
some
under the
time to
Democratic
acclimate
Rules of
his
Order,
chair.
which they are.
And granted, it was not an urgent motion, so I decided that it could
And
wait.
somebody once
That does
complained that I
not mean
talked
that he
over on
has the
this. I'm like, this
authority
isn't a
to
rebroadcast
decide when
channel.
the
This is a
state board is
commentary
allowed
rant
to make
channel.
motions and when they're not.
This is
And that's something that would have been challenged if he had tried to make it an issue when
If
it
you
was
don't want to
important.
hear me talk over, don't tune
Change the
in.
fact also that
Plus,
at
you
one
don't want to
point a
hear this
motion
guy.
was
He's a
made
nutbag.
with Mr. Hines presiding as chair that did
Little
follow
prick
through outside of his every fourth Monday scheduled monthly state board ad hoc meeting.
Like
So
twat,
again, this is not
prick
something
is
that he
not a
has the
word that
authority to
is
do,
used enough
and
today.
a
It used to be a
practice that
vogue,
he himself
but I think we need to
allowed
call more people
not to be
pricks and
followed
twats.
during his tenure as chair.
And to me, those are
With
gender
regard
neutral
to
terms.
the members that had been
A chick can
disqualified,
be
I
a
believe I
prick.
said the vast
It
majority. If I
rhymes.
didn't say that, then I apologize. That's what I meant. The vast majority of the 2,000 people who were disqualified had not been involved in the party, didn't appear to even know the party existed. There are, of course, exceptions. And as people showed that they're agreeing with to
here's
abide by the bylaws,
sound
which is
effect
one of the
for
requirements
Will
that's been in
McVeigh.
place for 4 years
No,
now.
you look like
A
an
lot of the
idiot.
people who are involved, who want to be involved, who were disqualified, are being readmitted. We're up to 30 or 40 now at this point. I don't remember the exact number, but we're getting there. We're working on readmitting people. I told you about the outreach efforts we're making in our written responses. We're trying to get people back involved, but we're trying to make sure that they're actually involved, not just nominal paper members that don't actually have any participation or involvement in the party. I think that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now I think what we're going to do is leave these questions that have just been asked, because I think
Okay,
they've been
super
covered pretty
chats,
thoroughly.
please. I
And
need to
go
buy more
to our,
booze.
since the JC has no more questions that I can see.
Super chats, please.
I'm going to go ahead and we're going to get to the timed responses, the rebuttal.
Brits
Now,
pronounce
if you
twat?
recall,
Do they go
we
twat?
had
You
allowed
stupid
15
twat.
minutes for
You
each
stupid twat.
appellant and twice that amount
Oh,
for
it's kind of
the
hard to hear my commentary. Okay.
respondent, which was the LNC,
Yes.
because there are actually two cases. So the
I think I
way we
had
did
them,
it
like,
last
in the wrong
time
way
is
is
we
actually
had the
it.
appellants speak first and the respondent speak last. Now we're going to reverse that order, and the LNC, the respondent, will have the ability to speak first. And I believe you have quite a bit of time left. And Whitney, would you like to?
This should be
start,
better.
or would
It's
you like
peaking.
us to recognize someone else?
Testing.
I'll start. I don't.
didn't hit red this
necessarily
time, so
think
that
we
should be
have
better.
much to say, but I do have a
Jeez,
question.
both of you, just
You mentioned already earlier in this conversation that you're still going to be accepting more briefs after this, and so my question
No,
for
you
y'all
look
is,
like an
how long
idiot.
is this going to continue?
Well, we are meeting on Friday to discuss, at least I think it's going to be Friday, to discuss,
looking.
our viewpoint on this and try
What
to
else is
come
being
to
broadcast?
resolution, a conclusion.
Well, they
So
do have
what
the
I'm going to
Zoom
suggest
meeting
is that
itself.
midnight on Thursday
Yeah, you go to
night
the
would be
LNC
the last
list.
time to send
Somebody
us a
could
brief.
post in YouTube comments
That
where
will
someone
give us
could
a
watch
little
it
bit of
directly
time
if they
before our
wish.
meeting in the afternoon on Friday
Josh,
to
your brother
read it.
is nice.
We've had a
He was
number,
actually
but
being
I'm
10
not
times his family
expecting
today,
a whole
like,
lot more. I think
We're
we've
we're
pretty
having a
much covered the
Massachusetts meeting
waterfront.
tonight if the LNC cancels their
And,
Massachusetts meeting.
So that's, I guess, all
Check,
I
they haven't
need to
done
say on
No.
that.
Ken
And
Molman,
hopefully
though,
we'll come to a conclusion quickly.
I am
But
being
as
very
you know, we
disappointed
have
in
to
how
write an
wishy-washy.
opinion,
And there are some
so
things we
there's
won't
going to
do
be a
in
little
next week.
time between now and then.
Why isn't that coming up on screen?
Okay, and then my
we
other
go.
question, which I did pose in writing and didn't get a specific response to it. I don't know if the response I got has changed at all, but it is my understanding that the Judicial Committee has two options here. One, to uphold the decision of the LNC, and two, to overturn the decision of the LNC. And I'm curious, because based on the nature of the conversations that have been had during these two hearings so far, it makes me wonder what other things the Judicial Committee is considering as what they believe their options are in this case.
No,
So
you
if
look
you are
like an
able to
idiot.
speak on that, I would love to hear it.
Well, I'm not sure because we haven't met on this subject yet.
Okay.
So I would be speculating, and I'd rather not do that. I will only say what I think I thought I had sent back a reply email, but maybe I didn't, that, voiding the decision where the LNC wanted to have the members of the Delaware party have a mass
decorum.
meeting and
Howling monkeys
express
out
their
there.
will. Had several parts to it. I think it's conceivable.
read
This
that
is my
again.
personal opinion you're hearing now.
Actually, it goes
I think
with-
it's conceivable that parts of that could be returned and parts could be,
Oh, so it's
kept,
okay to
but
represent the
again,
LNC
I
as
have not,
howling monkeys.
the committee has not discussed all these options because there's been enough moving parts that
That's
we wanted
racist,
to
Susan.
get our questions answered, and that's what the hearing period really is about. So that
Yeah,
we
Whitney has her
have a
camera
pretty
off
good
because of the
idea
screenshots I keep making of her
of
resting, her
what the
resting bitch
problems
face.
are and
Yeah, here's
what
the
the
quote
possible
from
solutions are.
2:43 this afternoon.
I'm
Ms.
sorry to be
Bogarth.
vague, but I
One
don't
And
know what else to do.
One Okay, go ahead.
And I quote, "Can you work with the chair to make this meeting
Okay, thank you. I
come
appreciate
off
that.
as more than a howling
I don't believe that.
monkeys?"
I have nothing else to say.
I've
on
never
behalf of
said
the LNC
anything
in this
like that on the
regard.
LNC list.
Just
Susan has been rude as fuck
ready to see what
throughout
happens.
this whole morning,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
no one has said
Well,
shit
thank
to
you.
her.
Thank
Um,
you.
She was complaining at one point about,
Okay,
"Is this
so
why you
I
show up at
believe the
work
way we
tomorrow
did
morning
this before
exhausted?"
is I think we had.
Like, well, you
Mr.
must-
actually,
Hines
that-
speak first and
that was
Mr. Ray
Richard.
Speak second in our other
Richard
meeting,
said he
so
had to
we're
go to
gonna
work at
reverse that
3:30,
order.
and then the
And
secretary,
Mr.
the
McVeigh
fraudulent
can
secretary, is
go
like, "This
ahead
isn't how I want to
and,
spend." Oh, well, she did it too.
Take
Richard
the
did too.
12,
Fuck you,
almost
Susan. That's what
13
you signed
minutes
up
that you have
for.
left and either
Hey,
speak
Charles
yourself
Lozazzo,
or
let's
designate
put this
someone
up
to
on the
speak
screen.
on
Thank
your
you, Charles.
behalf,
We appreciate
and
that. Love
say
the
whatever
quote,
you
too.
feel needs to be said at that
Thank you,
point,
Charles.
including rebuttal for anything you've heard so far.
Okay.
Otherwise-
Susan has been a real
So I think I've
Just-
covered what we have
twat
to say
on the
in
list
the written
and a prick.
responses and
And nobody is
response
saying
to
a thing
questions
to
last
her.
week and in the response to
And I
questions
gave both
today.
terms because
So
she would
really
probably
what I
go
want to
that
do
that's
is
some
just
kind of
kinda
gender
try to
term. No,
summarize
just like
here.
bitches.
So this is
to me,
a
being a
consolidated
dick,
hearing
a
for
prick,
two different
a twat,
appeals,
or a bitch
one of
is
which is
gender
the appeal
neutral.
that was filed by the Libertarian Party of Delaware with the support of the entirety of its state board, including a majority of those elected in
But
June,
I mean, there are to me some
challenge
very
the
gendered
LNC's
specific
decision
terms,
to
like the C word. I
basically
don't use the C word.
encourage.
To
I
me,
use
that's
that
very
word in quotes
misogynistic.
because there's a
That's
threat
me.
behind it. The members of the Libertarian Party of Delaware hold a mass meeting to determine who their leadership is
I call
outside
them
the
ass
boundaries of Robert's
douches.
Rules of Order for mass meetings, which are specifically
ass
for
douche.
unorganized associations
Just
rather
a fancy
than
word for an enema.
established and organized one, and in violation of our bylaws, which allow for leadership to be selected at odd year conventions. And
Did
through
Will
the
McVeigh actually
disciplinary
complain
process
about
and
violation of the
succession process that's
bylaws?
also outlined
My
in
head
the
is going to
bylaws.
explode worse
The
than
mass meeting is not
scanners.
part of it. The second appeal that's being heard is the one that's been filed by Mr. Hines following his removal from the state board as chair and the removal of his allies. His appeal is basically asking the Judicial Committee to order the LNC to recognize a minority of the board it was elected in June as the affiliate of the LP of the Libertarian Party. Now, I don't think you have the authority to do this under the bylaws. I don't think the LNC has the authority to do this under the bylaws. But what I know for a fact is that you don't have the power to do this under reality, because the LNC and the JC and the LP can determine who their affiliate is. But we have not submitted this matter for arbitration to the National Party. We do not acknowledge your authority to decide who the leadership and
Why
state
are
board
you
members
appealing?
of the LPD are.
I know.
So you can decide that
I
somebody
know.
else is your
You
affiliate.
can't both
If that's what
appeal
you really
and say
wanna
you
do.
don't acknowledge their authority.
But we will
But
still be
on
the
one
affiliate
hand, I'm going
acting
to
without
agree
vote,
with Will
not
here.
the affiliate. We will
I
still be the
know, I
party,
know.
the political party in the state
I
of
also
Delaware,
don't
the regularly
recognize the
organized and
legitimacy of this
constituted statewide
LNC
governing authority
and most of
the
this
ballot
judicial
qualified
committee.
political party in Delaware, running candidates nominated as libertarians.
He said
in
of the
control the
LNC
assets
too
of the
to make this
Libertarian
decision.
Party, the money, the Facebook page, the website, the Discord server, all of that stuff. And we are not going to turn that over to a minority that was elected in June and then removed for their bad behavior.
You will
and
if you get a
failures to
court
govern the
order too, my
organization
dude.
in any manner
Another
that was
gender neutral
useful
too.
to anything, just because you say so.
Now, is
So there's
bro
limit
now
to
a
what you
gender
can
neutral
actually do
term?
here,
That
and an even
argument's been
tighter
made
limit to what your
because
authority is under.
see,
my
I don't think it
understanding of
is
your own
yet
bylaws.
because female Mises Caucus members are
Let me
getting
think here for a
offended
second
by
if I
saying
have
it's just
anything
a
I
bunch
wanna
of
add to
frat
that.
bros, and we're like, are
Something
you
else I
ignoring
just
the many
want to make
women
sure
in
I
the
add
Mises
is that a lot of
Caucus?
focus on this, in particular
No, people have
regarding
been saying
Mr. Hines'
bro,
appeal, which
and
doesn't have a whole lot to do in my estimation.
I'm wondering if I'm
Our
wrong because
appeal,
I still see bro
relates to the
as
specific
gendered
procedures followed on October 1st.
or cis.
The question that
I say
apparently
bro cis.
Miss Matson put in the
Yeah, or
in the
girl for you,
document,
yeah.
white on white. Very clever, by the way. I understand. I acknowledge that that's a pretty bad specification for
Yeah,
what
I have a
constitutes proper
drinking
notice.
problem.
That's why we've changed that. But it also needs to recognize that what happened on October 20th followed every possible
An airplane?
November 20th followed every possible conception of what the process is supposed to be for amending the bylaws and the governing documents by the state board of the LPD. It was all followed. Every decision was ratified. Mr. Hines in his response talks about, members
Cherry
of the board
pie. The
changing
reason
their
why not
minds
to just
based
take
on
this to court
feedback from the
is it would
members.
cost probably
We've heard
$100,000 to
feedback.
do
We've heard
this.
feedback from
You're
everybody,
talking
the
about
members, the National
activists
Party,
that
and you know,
listen,
we've decided
I'm
to dig our
more
heels in.
advanced in life, as you might say, and I don't have $100,000 to block to waste upon something like this. I don't think kids in their 20s do.
The appeal that we filed. We are not backing down. We are not changing our minds and following some more pedantic.
I think some Mises women did. I did. I'm not a bro.
That is shown.
But I know I see Cherry Pie says bro is as gender neutral as dude. So I might be wrong
changing
here.
Our minds. Our party has been running significantly better since Mr.
Maybe it is because we say don't tase me, bro, and I say that to everybody.
If you really want to try to nitpick procedures.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong here.
Supposed to be your affiliate. I've
also heard bra. So
focus on November 20th. We still want to be affiliates of the National Party,
but maybe
we're not going to surrender the party over it. We are willing to give up our affiliation in return for keeping Mr. Hines and his allies out of our business.
Maybe it is a younger generation thing.
I think that's all I have. If I have anything else I want to add, then I'll send a written brief. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, and all parties can send a written brief if they decide that they want to respond. Again,
Colorado did
midnight
send a brief, by the
Thursday
way.
night.
Yeah.
In other
It was
words,
signed by myself.
I know, I saw the show this morning.
11:59
I saw the
p.m.
Never mind
on
then.
Thursday
saw the
night
replay.
would be the
What time
deadline.
zone?
Because the ones who
Uh,
agreed, we then just
That's a
talked
good
amongst
question.
ourselves for a
I'm
while,
going
so
to
I
say
didn't know if you
Central
knew.
because
I know
we've been
about it,
working with Central
I'm a
Time.
little bit torqued
Fair
there.
enough. Thank you.
At me?
Okay,
Yes.
Why?
I would have signed
let's
it too.
do it that
You
way.
didn't ask.
Okay.
We wanted it to be
Our
board
next
members.
up is Mr. Hines.
Yeah, no.
It's a gentle ribbing.
Yeah. We didn't have enough time to do a motion before the board.
And Mr. Hines, you're muted. You might not.
They're still
realize
accepting
that.
briefs.
No,
I
I
would
know.
encourage you to send one in.
It unmutes you. You have to go through a unmute process. Anyway,
That while I'm not a board member, I agree
couple
with
things.
it on their
As Mr. McVeigh pointed out, our appeal is very different.
You
than
could do
his.
a notice of
And,
agreement or something like that.
We are appealing the
Sweet.
lack of action by the LNC on the 21st of November. Mr. McVeigh has said.
I agree with Doc. I never really got terribly upset,
definitely.
I guess.
To a point.
November
There's a lot
20th,
of Latinos
he was
who are really
attempting
pissed over the
a
term
do-over of what he did
Yeah,
on
because they
October
didn't invent it
1st.
though. It's their own
And
language, and like
you don't get do-overs.
non-Latin
Like,
people
once he made
are
himself an
opposing that on
illegitimate
them.
branch off of the party, we had no interest in participating in anything he was doing because it was illegitimate. So I want that to be clearly understood.
And here Bill has to say he's actually worth listening to.
The members that he attempted to remove from the party have gone through a process of discipline. In Mr. McVeigh's home county of Kent County, the members passed a resolution requiring an investigation and possible disciplinary action. That path was followed based on the members'
I'm just putting comments up so people
and
can
review
read.
of this. Mr. McVeigh has been removed as chair of Kent County, along with Ms. Kercheval and Mary Pat McVeigh.
I agree,
removed
Tricia.
as treasurer of Kent County. Will was
You'll never hear me say my
subject to
pronouns are
3
this, unless
years
you can't tell.
of not participating
Yes, ma'am.
in party leadership. And
They had that
the other
photo.
two were, I think, 1 year.
Yes, ma'am.
You have all the details because there was a brief submitted detailing all this. So I would like to yield the rest of my time to Amy Lepore, who also wanted to speak.
And Will McVeigh just inappropriately put up
Go
an
ahead,
an emoticon up on his profile because
Yeah,
Zoom
thank
allows
you,
to
Mary. I
do
will
that
very
now.
quickly kind of just present our closing statement here.
Yeah.
So at the end of our last hearing, I know we heard the LNC chair kind of encourage the JC to spend a little bit less time and attention on the details of the Delaware case, like there is nothing to see here, which should have placed the JC on high alert that there are undoubtedly important matters. And I hope you're paying very close attention to the briefs and the information being sent in, and certainly to that original appeal we sent in. But I want you to know, we're going to make 4 points today, and they're important points, things that we want to highlight for
Amy
you.
is fantastic.
Oh, yes.
So I'm just going to go right down our list. So the two organizations, one being fictitious and created for the purpose, I guess, of expelling libertarians, the other created by Chairman Hines, and a board that was actually elected by the members, are not being treated equally. So the LNC's argument of equal treatment in response to our appeal crumbled in the first 30 seconds of our presentation last week. Their blatant favoritism of the fraudulent board is evident in the presentation of only their website, only their convention, the unwillingness to mention to members that there might be some
Amy is absolutely
dispute
fucking
over
right.
who the actual affiliate is. And now we found out yesterday that CRM access is only offered to the McVeigh 5 and not to the
Really?
actual LPD, the rightful affiliate chaired by Bill Hines.
That
We are
you
not
guys
being
are opening
treated
yourself
equally.
off
And the
to a
importance of these
lawsuit.
facts is
I
pretty
won't sue
simple.
the LNC.
The LNC cannot support
But not
its same
everyone
argument,
has
and
those
frankly,
scruples.
If I were a member of the JC, I would be insulted that this is what they offered to you instead of facts. They should have told you that they only tell members about one website. They should have.
You
told
mean the
that they only
LNC's
offer
lying
CRM
to the
access one
JC? That's never
organization.
happened
They should have
before.
told you that nowhere did they seek to protect their dues-paying members by
The
offering
LNC
disclosure
is
of honesty.
honest.
They omitted these facts, and you
Like
should want to know why.
as honest as Nixon.
So we
They
were
are not
constructively
crooks.
disaffiliated. And this really is our second point. The LNC can only recognize one affiliate, and in Delaware, Bill Hines leads that only affiliate that can be recognized legitimately. It's the affiliate with the board that was actually elected by the only people who matter here, and for whom we seek to have very little voice, and that's the members. When the LNC failed their opportunity to do this, they turned its back on dues-paying national members.
Yes.
And they did this despite being petitioned by more Delawareans than attended the 2021 convention. 42 libertarians in Delaware petitioned the LNC. 32 of whom are dues-paying members of the
LNC got over 1,000 member emails in support of me and ignored them. They filtered them out. The LNC
the JC
sucks.
must ask itself why the LNC would go against the elected membership twice, not recognize the chair they elected on 11/21. 11/21 is the subject of our appeal, I would like to remind everyone, and then ignoring their petition of LNC members. Members have been offered some bullshit line that the LNC simply cannot tell the truth, cannot say who their rightful affiliate is. And how dare the LNC take money from these members and then make them bear witness to utter cowardice. I am ashamed for them. It must be said again that the plot by these bad actors from start to finish ran afoul of any reasonable reading of our bylaws and of Roberts. And it is not the direct scope of our appeal, but when the Judicial Committee is taking a look at what happened in Delaware, I urge you to take a look at our documentation at Exhibit A and understand that no reasonable person reading either
Amy
of those
is channeling me a little bit here, isn't she?
That McVeigh 5 followed any proper procedure. That's in our documentation. And lastly, there can be no question about what our membership wants. 2 out of 3 counties have passed resolutions condemning the McVeigh 5. And one of these resolutions was in Kent County and passed while Will was still chair. And that vote was 11-6. The vote in Newcastle County, 19-1. And you have been presented with petitions from our membership as well. If the members are listening, I need them to know that I am sorry that this is where we are, but that we have every opportunity to move forward. They were promised more than this, and God knows the world needs more people willing to stand up in their communities. Our members did not expect to be met with subpar gamesmanship. They expect the LNC to lead, and they expect this Judicial Committee to rectify and reverse the decision made on November 21st. Thank you very much.
Well, I love you, Amy, but the members also expected them to reverse that bullshit decision on September 6th. But maybe the JC will be better this time.
Cut out at the same time mine did, but it may not be on the recording if I don't ask it for you. So, and your first point, you said you just found out that there was access to something, and that something is what I didn't hear.
Oh, I heard it. CRM.
That has been denied to the Heinz Group. Can you please repeat what that something was?
Yes, ma'am. As a result of the resolution in Boston, both groups were to be provided equal access to the CRM system, that system that houses data about the registered libertarians. I'm sorry, about the dues-paying members to the Libertarian Party from Delaware.
Just a reminder to everyone, please send super chats. I'm begging. I'm grifting.
The fraudulent board.
Would you? Oh, go ahead, Amy.
I'm so sorry, Mary. I just have to say one more example in a laundry list of ways that we are able to debunk their claim to equal treatment of both groups.
And there shouldn't be equal treatment.
So
that was what Colorado's brief was all about.
Documentation before Thursday about that for us.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you, because this is the first I think that we are hearing about this. Okay, I think we.
If Delaware wins, it's some vindication for me, as far as I'm concerned.
We have needed to hear from.
Fuck you, Whitney.
I just want to wrap up with a few things, and I invite my fellow JC members to help me out if I miss anything. We are going to be accepting briefs until 11:59 p.m. Thursday, and that is 11:59 p.m.
Oh, you can send one in then.
Just briefs.
So if you have anything that you want us to hear that you haven't had a chance to do in this meeting, that is the time.
My wrist is killing me.
You want us to hear that you haven't had a chance to do in this meeting.
Backhand me for my dumb comments.
Okay, I'm hearing a big echo. Is everyone hearing that echo?
You see, I was
That's the
able.
wind going through
Tyler, are you
McVeigh's
hearing
ears,
it
Mary.
on your end?
I was able to put a little gel on my
Yes,
nails.
I
And
muted
they look a
Mr.
little
Hines,
nice,
who was the
huh?
only other open mic, and see if that clears it up.
19 minutes,
Okay.
54 seconds.
I may have moved a little too close to my mic, and I
Oh,
apologize.
I think they're timed for something. I don't
I
know.
see we have questions from the LNC chair and from Mr. McVeigh. I'm going to let the LNC chair address their questions first. Go ahead.
Oh, I wish I had that image of.
Thank you, Dr. Rohr.
Okay. Dear
For those
Wendy,
people
here's
who
your
may
first
not have
question. Why are
submitted
you
anything
here?
yet, and this is going to be their first time, can you please clarify the most direct route to getting things to you all? I think some of us have been doing to your attention, but then also to the entire JC. And is it in fact jc@lp.org?
You want to hear some?
you
Whitney's
just clarify
pretending
that
like
email
she's
address,
just
please.
learned there is issues in
Yes,
Vermont.
thank you. I
Isn't it a
appreciate
shame
the
that like
question. I
I
should have
know
mentioned
more
that.
about what's
Yes,
going
you
on in the
can
party than
do
Whitney
either,
does?
But probably the best thing to do is we have a couple actually emails, jc@lp.org or judicial@lp.org. And you can also send directly to me, Mary,
The Norwegian
at
equivalent.
Ruart, just like my last name, RUWART.com. If I get it, if I'm the sole recipient, I will forward it on to all of the related parties. And Whitney, did you have more to say on that matter? Because I see your hand is still up.
Okay, we just need to put this
No,
up.
sorry, that's an artifact. I'm good. Thank you.
Oh, okay, great.
Okay, this is
And,
all we need.
I see Mr. McVeigh has his hand up. What is your
You are
question, sir?
not unused.
I had 8 minutes left in my rebuttal time. Is it possible
this
for
is
me to use
live,
some of
John.
that rest of
This
the
is
points made
live,
by
John.
Mr. Hines and Dr. Lepore?
This is the MST. This is the
Yes, I
LP3
think you have
version.
that time, and you can use it. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'll be quick. So the first thing I want to talk about is the CRM access. We have CRM access based on the access that we've had since, I want to say, mid-June, maybe early July, in accordance with established state board policy that the IT director should have that access as the root state admin for the CRM and provide access based on, again, state board policy, which is set by a majority of the state board, which brings us to my other point about the majority of the state board, as it was elected in June, has maintained control of the assets and the access to the party. And the final thing I want to talk about is this disciplinary process that Mr. Hines is alluding to. What happens by non-members is not really relevant to the governance of the LPD. But the bottom line is that, you know, this disciplinary process was in violation of the bylaws of the county LPD, which is where the disciplinary process allegedly took place, aside from the fact that it was conducted by individuals who are no longer members of the Kent County Libertarian Party of Delaware. So yeah, that's the extent of what I wanted to use our rebuttal time for. So
There we go.
I'm going to reserve the rest of it in case Mr. Hines wants to use his 20 seconds to say something clever.
Okay. I think you have a little bit of time left, Mr. Hines. Go ahead.
I think you have that worded backwards.
No, I don't.
Thank
It's
you.
ex-
I'll use my 20 seconds just to say that Mr. McVeigh,
no, I have it
upon
exactly how I
seeing the
want.
resolution of Kent County, immediately removed everybody from the party, knowing that the party was against him for what he did.
Oh, David,
That's
the
all I
screen
have.
did not freeze. It's just
Okay,
Whitney's
thank you.
face.
All right. I know this is a contentious issue, and
Oh,
I
I
think
don't want to
I'm
confuse
done
you.
recognizing people.
Yes, contentious.
Although I do, okay. So I do see hands up still, though. So I would like to suggest. Well, I think actually Mr. McVeigh does have a little more time. How much time, Tyler? Can you show me? Yes.
Oh,
I'm going
she
to
was
have to
that
let him
time
use
was
that
the 20
time
minutes she was given
because
each
he has
side,
it.
I think.
So go ahead, Mr. McVeigh.
Well, I could use 6 minutes and 45 seconds to recite poetry, but I'll save y'all from that.
Oh,
The
that would be a lot
notification
more
to change the membership
entertaining,
criteria was posted in advance of the
useful,
resolution
educational.
that was supposed to form the investigatory committee, and it passed before the investigatory committee was even populated. And the motion creating the investigatory committee was vetoed by the state board in accordance with the bylaws. The resolution was repealed at the next county meeting in accordance with the bylaws. So, you know, this idea that it was, you know, the members were removed so that we could avoid accountability. That's not what happened there after it wasn't in response to the motion passed by Kent County. It was part of the intention from the beginning that we would constrain the membership criteria.
Okay.
I'll keep my 6 minutes now.
Okay.
Can I cash them in like my PTO?
Boy, don't we wish. Okay. So
Yes.
if you have any other thoughts after this meeting, like I said, all of the people who are involved in the actual process, the appellants, the
Don't want to
respondent,
put it on her.
you
So I
should feel
keep
free to go ahead and let the JC know in writing, please, before Thursday night, 11:59 p.m. Central Time. That way, when we start our deliberations on Friday, we will hopefully have all the information.
I would
at
love
our
to be on this,
fingertips.
JC.
I would
It would be a
like
lot
to
of fun.
say that, as we're looking over all of this, it's possible that we will
Oh.
have other questions. If we do,
Well, actually, number
we
3
won't
was, now I
hesitate to
know.
reach out to you. I know a few of you have already gotten emails in the last few days from me about certain questions that I had. And I appreciated your prompt responses. And so that will also be a possibility.
can't
I
help
just want
it.
you to know.
That
I
look.
realize that everyone would like this to be resolved one way or the other. So the next step, whatever it might be, can be taken by all the
Of
parties.
corruption.
Look of disgust.
And we will do our best
The look
to
of love.
get this
The look of,
resolved
I can't
quickly
believe you appealed
and
my
get
ruling, you
opinions
peasants.
written. As you know, from our last go around, from an entirely different matter. We had
You mean the
different
manner y'all
opinions, and
fucked
we
up
felt
in
it would
overturning
be
the will of the
helpful
delegates?
to all parties if we detailed those. So that can take a little time too, but we will try to get this taken care of as soon as possible. I want to thank you all.
I
know
love
this is a
Dr.
very
Rohr, however.
divisive issue.
Her
It's
and
been
D. Frank
very
are the only
difficult
two
for
members of the
everyone
JC
to
worth keeping.
try to modulate
The
their
rest of them
comments. I think we've done a reasonable
can
job.
pound
I
sand.
mean, no one's ever perfect in this kind of thing, but I hope that in the interim, we can be as, I guess the big thing we need to remember
Maybe
is who our
who's
real enemy
JC
is.
at?
It's
Oh,
not the
that's
people in this room. it's the
national
state.
hosting the meeting. Okay, never
So
mind.
let's
I
try
was
to
wondering if
remember
that was
that
D.
as we
Frank.
interact with each other, and we'll take it from there. I want to thank you all for your attendance. I want to thank you all for your responses, and the JC will do its best to get back to you shortly. I hope you have a great week.
Trying to.
Bye for now.
Okay. Trying to get all the stuff off the screen, but let's go back here. Here we go. Let's remove this. So before we end, well, we're gonna talk a bit, but before we talk, I have something I want to dedicate to Will McVeigh.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God, stop fucking lying.
Not now. How do I remove that? There we go.
I come in right at the look.
Let me see if I could get you up here a little bit on your little side screen here. Yeah, here we go. So let me put you up here so that you're not just a disembodied voice.
But I have a disembodied face for video, so
And
the
I
voice
need
works well.
Here we go. Yeah, that way you were cutting into my head. That's what she said.
I don't know, that's interrupting your head.
Oh boy. Okay, everyone.
Shannon, it was like this. She's got the look. She's got the look.
Yeah,
the
but
look of love.
But I think this needs to be said again, just because. Will needs an encore. Let's just enjoy this one more time.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God, stop fucking lying.
High five.
Not hard.
Other hand.
Yeah. On the other hand, because I'd scream again.
Other hand.
Oh man, the pain medication is making it.
See, the problem. Yeah, put that up. Put that one up.
Yeah, let me.
Yeah, it does come down to notice, but McVeigh thinks that for Hines it means not us.
Yeah, and yeah, so many things come down to notice. So that's it. Where we're at, let me summarize, is the JC said they're going to have their deliberations on Thursday. I wish I could be a fly on the wall on that. I'm actually I was optimistic for my own decision, so take this with a large grain of salt. But I'm optimistic that Will McVeigh is so fucking disgusting that they'll come down on the right side. But again,
the first part of that is not optimistic. That's just truth.
Yeah, but the LNC was fucking disgusting, and look what they did.
That's true.
But there were personal axes to grind there. Alicia Matson had a personal axe to grind. Yes. Tom Arnold, for some reason, had a personal axe to grind because even though he admitted the LNC was wrong, he unethically abstained.
Yes. If you're not going to come to a decision, why the hell are you on there?
You know, and Vermin Supreme, that was just completely unethical.
That was a sick joke.
It was just stupid.
Yeah, it was beyond stupid.
So my decision is different. There were all kinds of other issues at play that are not at play here. So I am optimistic they will do the right thing for Delaware. Hopefully. And whether anyone else agrees with this or not, I will view a victory for the rightful board of Delaware as somewhat of a vindication. Because how I've been spending my time since my fraudulent removal from the LNC is helping affiliates. And you can attest to that. Oh my God. I can't even name them all, but there's been about 8 that I've just been intimately involved with either writing
You've been all over the place. Really.
I almost regret saying I do parliamentary work for free because I could do this full time and like not work. Like so many people need help. I wish I was independently wealthy and I could just do parliamentary services.
We keep trying for you.
Oh my God. You can become a patron and help me. Hey, you just gave a, let me put my grifting thing up.
Yeah, now you put the grifting up.
Okay, because this is actually true. The more patrons I get, the less time I have to spend at like a normie job. And I do volunteer for LP. Like my free time is spent helping affiliates. Plenty of affiliates can attest to this. If I didn't have to work a normie job, I would just be volunteering for affiliates to help them. I happen to have a certain kind of training, which I'm trying to get Mike to get his certification as well, because I want us.
I got 2 certifications to work on in my life. One is that one, and one is my real world.
But I want Mike and I to go into business together, doing parliamentary work, and we would volunteer for the LP, but get paid. We'll charge the fuck out of some Republicans or something.
Well, not only that, but the temple needs some color to it. Besides all these parliamentarians that show up in Arizona dressed like they're going to a funeral.
Oh my God, that dude was that dude.
Do you have the tall stovepipe hat too?
He didn't have the hat, but it was all black.
Totally dressed like Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, but still. Woo! Woo!
This is my wife calling.
Woo!
This is my wife calling. Hello, you're on the air.
Yeah, Lydia, you're interrupting our broadcast.
No, Wayne went up on himself. We've been going over convention rules, and we've been.
Yeah, so I want Mike and I to go into business together, but he won't get his certification yet. Okay, he'll be calling his sweetie when he's done. I love that one statement Mike made. I need to find that show where there was that pause you did. It was so perfectly timed when you said, "No, we're both happily married to other people." Oh, and you're getting an official invitation to come to New Hampshire next weekend. I am their parliamentarian. Nick Sarwark will be.
I am not. With all respect to Jess, I will not be in New Hampshire next weekend. Next weekend is my birthday.
That's the perfect time to be in New Hampshire.
No, it's not.
There's so many libertarians there, though.
I've got a date with my wife, possibly.
Bring her
at a health spa.
But do that another weekend.
Maybe.
Bring Lydia. Come hang out with a bunch of libertarians.
Excuse me.
Laugh at Nick Sarwark.
Well.
Laugh at Jackie Perry. Come on. It sounds perfect, doesn't it?
New Hampshire loves tie-dye.
New Hampshire loves tie-dye. And you guys, Jess and Nolan, maybe you can help me out here. I'm obsessed right now. You know I get my obsessions. When I came up...
obsession.
Yeah, my obsession. Okay, when I went to Pork Fest, when I was driving
When you went
to
to Porkfest, you were a freaking rock star.
yeah, oh, that was great. But when I was driving there, I don't even remember what road it was on. This is why I think Jess and Nolan can help me. So I'm driving down that. There's a long road when you're leaving Manchester Airport. It's like the longest road you're on before you make a bunch of turns before you have to go to the campground where Porkfest is.
Most of New Hampshire says what? 10 feet long?
No,
is a small state.
Yeah, but it's tall.
That's true.
So it was going north. There was this house.
I joke, folks, but I do it.
It's narrow, but it's tall. So on this long northbound road, on the left-hand side of the road when you're going north, there was this house, and going across the road was railroad tracks. And the railroad tracks, no shit, went right in front of the front door of the house. And I think it's like old tracks. Like, I don't think, but still, I want to get a picture of that because
there's a whole bunch of YouTube videos out there of old rail lines. That there's even one where the rails, you can see all the bows and twists, and you're like, how in the hell would a train run on this? And the train is running on it.
But I want a picture of this house.
Buy a house.
I mean, it went. Mike, I didn't know it's exciting you so much.
All goes boing boing.
So I want to get a picture. Do you guys, Jess and Nolan, do you know that house I'm talking about? I mean, it's right on that long ass road, but the tracks, they're old. They look like old tracks, and they come and they just go right in front of the house. And I want a picture of that so bad. But Nolan says you guys are going to be sending someone to pick me up at the airport, so I won't need to rent a car. But if someone knows where that house is, I would love for them to drive me by it to get a picture. But I really have a terrible sense of direction. It could be an hour out for all I remember. I just remember it was on the way to Porkfest. But I'll be seeing them next weekend. So we're going to go now. Nolan, Jess, we're working on your convention rules, which I'll send in a little bit. We're waiting to see if the LNC meeting gets canceled. Otherwise, I might be live at 5:30. The reason I say might is just an FYI. I've been retained as the parliamentarian for certain of the expelled members. It's not the entire group of the expelled members, but it's Brody Elwood and certain members of the expelled group. I am their parliamentarian. So I asked them, what do they wish me to do? Because they are my client. Do you wish for me to do my typical, light the LNC on fire live stream? Or do you want me to remain silent and be on call in case I need to advise you as a parliamentarian for the meeting? So I'm waiting for marching orders from my client. So whether or not I stream the Massachusetts meeting depends upon my client. If I don't stream it live, I'll do commentary on it later, but this is entirely up to my clients. Okay, everyone, we are going to go off. I'm going to finish the convention rules. I got to go upstairs. I got to pee. You're supposed to say, I hope everything comes out okay. And perhaps order
That's
some.
as bad as the wish comment from earlier.
Remember.
Earlier when she made a comment she was on the phone to somebody and she made a comment about Hogarth. What was it? Hogarth?
Ken Kelly. Is that right? Well, hold on. Kelly, God, I'm like losing my mind. Said that Susan Hogarth is what you get when you order Karen Ann Harlow's son Wish.
And I almost fell on the floor laughing.
So I'm waiting for the decision from my clients. So until then, either way, I'll comment after the meeting if they tell me they would prefer for me not to be lighting the LNC on fire live, which I live for. Otherwise, until then, we're going to close with the Patreon begging, and I'll see you guys later.
Given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in the business, not because they want